So this is the Celestial City. Okay, so they were getting closer to the gates or to the city, and when they finally got to the city, there were king's servants at the gates, and the Shining One said, "These are two of the king's little pilgrims." And when Christian looked up, a face shone more brightly than the others, and he thought, and her eyes shined when he was looking at her. Now, the that was his mother standing in front of him. And like so, his mother said, "Is it my little Christian?" But little Christian knew her immediately, and said, "Mother, I have come for you. The king has protected me and led me through my pilgrimage, and he will bring my father too here in the city." Okay, so his mother said, "I will never lose you again. The king is very good." Little Christian felt really happy to put his hand in his mother's. And even though hopeful, was alone and didn't have any friends to welcome him since he left them all in the city of destruction, he was comforted by the Shining One since they all gathered around and talked to him, so he felt comforted. Now, since Little Christian had left his armor at the other side of the river, since he knew that he would not need it anymore, because he would not fight anymore, his clothes were spoiled and dusty and dirty. And he thought that the king would be displeased by it. But the waters of the dark river washed off the dirt. So now it looked as good as new. And hopeful too, his clothes were spoiled from staying in Vanity Fair, and were spoiled because of staying in Vanity Fair, and it had been washed off and looked as good as it was when he first received it. So, near the walls of the Celestial City, there were men playing silver trumpets. Little Christian got a silver trumpet. Both of the little pilgrims got a silver trumpet, and then they blew the silver trumpet so that the people of the city would know that there were new pilgrims that were coming to the city. So when the Shining One led them to the gates of the city, the Shining One told them to knock on the gate did, and then the king's servant, the king's servant came, and he took the rolls. He took the rolls, and then he and then the rolls had a seal, which was the prince' own seal, and the king was pleased by this, so he ordered the servant to put the pilgrims in the city at once. So now, when the people of the celestial city had heard the trumpet, and so, since they had heard the trumpet, they knew right away what was happening, and so, little Christian and Hopeful came into the city with lots of greetings and sweet greetings, and everyone looked glad because there was no sorrow or sadness in the celestial city. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. So in the middle of the city rose a stately, beautiful palace. A stately palace. And it was more beautiful than the palace beautiful. And little Christian asked his mother, "Is that where the king lives?" Because he was still grasping onto her hand. And she said, "Oh yes, it is the king's palace." And he, what do you call it? Oh yeah. And when you go into the palace and kneel before him, you will see his glory, and you will be happy forever. Then, and little Christian said, "I am already happy because I have seen you and you love me." "Ah, yes," said his mother, "but the king's love is, like higher, like bigger. The king has more love for you than I have. Yeah, that's how I will put it." So, when they were at the threshold of the king's palace, of the palace of the king, the little Christian and Hopeful, they saw that in the palace, the prince himself was waiting for them in there. The prince welcomed them sweetly, since he had been waiting for them, and the whole city was happy because the little pilgrims had made it through the dark river and had gone to the sea.